Hi, this is John Gaeta. What we're going to be looking at now is the anatomy of a Burly Brawl shot. We like to call it the drop-down shot. In the year 2000, Steve Skroce drew these boards to illustrate the beginning of what we would consider the final act in this three-act fight. We begin in a God's eye view, and we spiral down to something that graphically emulated a hurricane. Originally, the hurricane idea was not as evident. Wu Ping and us on stage realized that the fight could potentially be interesting if it had the master revolving sort of circle around Neo.
And
what you're seeing here is the capture for Neo and his immediate adversaries. These would be sophisticated, choreographed pieces that Wu Ping and the Hong Kong team would work out. There would be like hundreds of these captures to choose from, creating a vast library which could be erector-setted, if you will, by the layout team with the computer graphics side of this. The UCAP process is incredible when it's being fully realized, as we'll see later on the Super Punch. The part of the process that involves getting the expression performance is perhaps the most complex, in which the actor needs to, in a somewhat restrained situation, provide an emotional sort of facial expression which is captured and processed and assigned on an individual basis. For some time we were speculating whether we wanted to try any scenes with articulate speech in close-up shots with CG humans, and there were discussions that I was having with Larry and Andy about possibly taking the shot where Smith says more and making that fully virtual. But, you know, as applied strictly for action beats, it was not necessary to apply articulate speech. However, the technology is there. So layer one, primary action, would be Keanu Reeves and at times Chad confronting the 8 stuntmen. There is a circle around this circle, which will contain many more men, that will be attempting to gain access to the fight. With a virtual depiction of a fight like this, there is no reason why not to have absolute contact. In the case of this scene, the whole point is that you can actually show the impact in its full effect. So we have the fellas dressed in body armor underneath their mocap suits so that Keanu or Chad can smash them with full force. Okay, so here we are beginning to create the preliminary versions of the virtual set. We're doing this so that we have a much better idea of scale. If we take a look at this scene, we can see how men are coming into and out of this fight from a layer just beyond the immediate foreground circle. Some hits could be the product of a Hugo Weaving running entry, a stuntman hit and collision, and then an animated extension because the Smith needed to travel quite a distance. There was a whole slew of terms from home runs to grounders and line drives that the bros would apply so we would understand the sort of severity of the hit and the distance of the hit. At this point you can see the design of the vortex starting to come into play. It was considered many ways almost a yin-yang type of graphic in that there would be equal numbers coming from either side and creating the type of symmetry that the Wachowski brothers love and apply so much in many of their frames. Based on our original test in 2000, we were going to have guys jumping from windows and going through windows. The other attribute about the test, which is fascinating, which we did not pursue as much, was a much more hyperactive camera that was at times quite more attached to Neo's periphery. Here is the final version at long last. This is a good shot for illustrating the whole process. In terms of a wide to macro view of the process, this one pretty much shows you the whole thing.